Welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining me is Vasil Shevchenko, former Minister of Transportation in Ukraine. Vasil, it's a pleasure to have you on again.
Thank you for having me.
Well, recently I've heard that Putin had launched a massive offensive against Kharkiv. They're taking on a lot of strikes and so forth. What the condition is like in Kharkiv, and why Kharkiv?
He decided to demonstrate that he is ready to launch offensive operation, but nevertheless he have had different casualties in different regions, including Kharkiv region, because their main direction to demonstrate that they are ready to capture Donbas region, because you know that they illegally implemented in their constitution illegal regions, illegal way implemented that Ukrainian regions, according to their decision, became Russians, but nevertheless they haven't managed to capture this region. They are trying to demonstrate their force. They are trying to move further, and actually we can say that they have successful operation when they can move for example, for 100 meters or 200 meters, and then you know that they have actually powerful propaganda machine, and propaganda machine exaggerates their results at the battlefield. And you know that lately, for example, they are sending diversion reconnaissance groups to take picture in the villages or settlements they haven't captured, but they managed to make picture. And then their strategy is based on this picture, and they are spreading lie about current events in Ukraine. Ukraine has no this kind of opportunity to prevent their lie. And actually, we have spoken many times that Russia is effective in it, and they have partners. And very often we can hear this lie from different famous media, because Russia's media are actually powerful. They are broadcasting this lie around the globe. But nevertheless, it's based at the lie fixed just for their propaganda pictures. And because of it, when we speak that Kharkiv region, it's the main region, and they are fighting Ukrainians effective, better to say, famous and effective military forces, and they are not able to move further. And for example, if they move for 100 or 200 meters or half kilometers, then immediately they will be drive out, because Ukrainian forces are making this kind of traps for them, because when they manage to get ahead, for example, half kilometers, then it's surrounded and eliminated, or taking as prisoners of war, just for exchanging for Ukrainians soldiers who are in the Russia's prisons. And you know they are using against Ukrainian soldiers extreme tortures, and they are torturing them by famine, and they're using different illegal instruments to humiliate Ukrainians. But nevertheless, we have managed to take back 1,000 Ukrainians from Russia's prisons, exchanging them for Russians. But you know that Russians are not interested in these exchanges, only under pressure. And you know that They have demonstrated many times that they are interested in establishing ceasefire, peace agreement, but actually they are not interested in it. They were interested in demonstrations that they are going to have negotiations just to distract attention, because you know that Russia's president scheduled to capture Ukraine during 3 days or 1 week. Now we are speaking for the year, and they haven't managed more territory than it was from the very beginning, and then Ukrainian forces managed to liberate half of territory which initially was captured by Russia's forces. And now it's impossible, for example, to move ahead because Ukrainian forces are best in using new military technology, using drones, and Ukrainians are working with United States science, Great Britain, European Union companies which are interested in promoting this type of drones. And it's extremely new technologies, because it's we are working with developed countries, but Russia is working with Iran, and because of it they are building drones which are focused on hitting the residential area. They are low precision, but they can hit residential houses. And for example, they have they have understood how to inflict bigger casualties for Ukrainian city. For example, for capital of Ukraine. Ukraine, you know that 2 days ago they hit capital of Ukraine, Kiev, by drones. And then at the end of this attack, they launched cruise missiles. And cruise missiles with a low altitude managed to penetrate to Ukraine's capital sky and hit residential house in one from the regions. And you know that they are guiding these missiles just to inflict serious blow for civilians. And you know that Russians are targeting civilians, not military forces. Military forces, it's for propaganda, for so-called success. But I remember that for example, the United States president commented that Russians have lost in 2025 here more than 122,000 soldiers. And at the same time, he commented that Ukrainians lost 8,000 brave soldiers. Mm-hmm. You know, that it means that they are using their military forces like cannon fodder. And Ukrainian forces are fighting Ukraine's territory. And very often it's a successful operation. We cannot waste manpower because we are limited in it. We don't have partners from any countries which would be able to support us military forces. Only cooperation, only military forces in the sphere of providing military ammunition and military and rounds for artillery and, for example, weapon different types.
Okay. Is there any signs or indications that the United States may actively get involved or not actively get involved in this war between Russia and Ukraine?
To be honest, we are satisfied that Americans with Ukraine. We know that many Americans who are fighting in volunteers battalions in the Ukraine forces. We know that most Americans support Ukraine, not Russia. And very often we cannot estimate power's action. For example, we cannot say and cannot comment the United States official type of having negotiations with Russia Federation, because we know that United States is interested in ceasefire in Ukraine and establishing peace in Europe, and European countries are interested in it. And because of it, we are sure that we are on the right side, and we are fighting for right side, and we are together. Very often, Russians can speculate this moment because they are trying to demonstrate that they are powerful. But nevertheless, Russia's economy is going to collapse. And you know that the only way to stop Russia, effective the instruments to stop Russia Federation, to prevent their opportunity to make money to fund the war. And we have seen many sanctions, but the sanctions is not such effective we would like to have. But nevertheless, we understand that Western countries depends on prices at the markets from material are being supplied by Russia Federation. And nevertheless, we know that these sanctions would be enough to stop Russia Federation funding this war. But we know that on the Russia side is China. China is not interested in stop ceasefire because China, we know that China is interested in weakening Russia Federation, is interested in provocating European Union, United States, just to have negotiations. But and now we can see that these countries which represents acts of evil are not ready to stop it because they are having their strategy just to irritate developed country, to irritate West, and blackmailing this country. And nevertheless, this time is quite difficult because actually we have seen many times that Russia has last chance to move ahead, to demonstrate their power, but they have tried to do it many times. They tried to do it in the North region, and initially they captured the bordering settlements, but part of them were liberated by Ukrainian forces maybe a week or two later. Ukraine forces have retaken them. They tried to attack Pokrovsk in region of Donetsk. They are interested in capturing territory, different regions. For example, they are trying to capture a piece of Dnipros region territory, just to blackmailing and just for using it for propaganda and just to demonstrate it through their propagandist media.
Right.
And yes, sorry.
So that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. Recently, President Zelensky had signed an anti-corruption bill with agencies within Ukraine. Was there any kind of influence on this war by those corruption agencies?
Yes, it's our domestic challenge. Exactly. You know that we are living in condition martial law. We are limited in our rights, and this limiting was confirmed by President's order concerning limit human rights for Ukrainians. But in this case, we had the corruption scandal concerning Vice Prime Minister who was involved in corruption actions. And the result appeared information that Parliament, that in war condition, Ukraine's president receives extra opportunities to influence for society. And very often this kind of relation can have side problems. For example, to have domination more and more, to limit executive bodies in the sphere of corruption, their independence. And he tried to do it, but his attempt lasted, it seems to me, 1 week. But the next day, after this draft, at the next day, he promised to cancel it. Because he saw that public pressure, despite of limits human rights, Ukrainian students who's not at the age of being drafted, but their parents are at the battlefield, decided to gather in dozen cities. And the Ukraine's president and his team understood that it's wrong way, and immediately next day promised to cancel it. But Parliament managed to gather only 31st of July, and they voted, and immediately the president signed this agreement, and it's cancelled this law, which would limit and rights for independence for executive bodies in Ukraine. And because of it, I don't know, maybe we can see here the harm for Ukraine's economy and Ukraine's society. But Ukraine's president commented that it is not his idea. He commented that this idea appeared in the parliament to support him, to give him extra opportunities to influence for sphere of relation in the sphere, because maybe they wanted to do it to demonstrate their loyalties. But nevertheless, it's cancelled, and public society and Ukraine's public society confirmed next time that we are independent, and Ukraine's society is fighting not only with the enemy, and very often with attempt to limit Ukrainians' rights in the wrong way, and without, for example, discussion and set. And because of it, we hope that Ukraine's president will not be able to try to change it again, because that since renewing Ukraine's independence, Ukraine have had 6 presidents. And Ukraine's society haven't allowed anybody to abuse. Very often, Ukrainian presidents were pushed away. Previous president, one president before president pushed from Ukraine, and he ran away from Ukraine, and he lives in Russia. And Ukrainian society elected the next president, and after that, previous president lost his running for president, and Zelensky has become the new president, because he was a public person, but he was from entertainment. And he managed to have 2 movies, and as a result, he became popular, and after that he managed to win his campaign. But I'm sure that Ukraine society will not allow him to abuse.
Okay. Did, by any chance, North Korea double down on their support for Russia And if so, will this have a more negative outcome in the way they can try to penetrate and occupy most of Ukraine's territories?
Now, I saw that North Korea's so-called leader confirmed that they are ready to support Russia Federation and to send to Ukraine hundreds, not thousands, but 100,000 soldiers to fight. But we don't know where he will send them to fight, because they were fighting in Russia's territory against Ukraine forces, because you know that when Ukraine forces scheduled offensive operation, they captured part of Russia's region and have to hold it. And this operation lasted maybe more than half a year. And Ukraine's fortifications were held by Ukrainian force. And then Russia addressed to North Korea, and as a result of united operation, they made Ukraine forces to retreat. But Ukraine forces retreated close to the border, but are holding part of Russia's region for, it seems to me, political reasons, to use it in negotiations with the Russian Federation, because Russia is trying to speculate very often in this sphere, and just to prevent it, Ukraine's forces are interested to demonstrate their power and to demonstrate our partners that Ukraine forces are able to retake territory and are powerful enough to deter Russia Federation. During the war, we are speaking that Ukraine forces lack ammunition and lack manpower and lack aviation and lack support and etc. But it's happening very often when army is fighting. As usual, army is limited in resources, and you know that all army needs more and more ammunition. But nevertheless, Ukraine forces are still fighting and holding their territory, our country's territory, and are effectively fighting against Russia's troops. Because you know that now we can see that many battles are in the sky. For example, why Russia's president wants to demonstrate his power. He wants attacking Ukraine's residential area, and he wants to demonstrate that they are able to hit residential houses and kill the young Ukrainians, children's, elderly, and it's his idea. But Ukraine's forces every night are fighting and are eliminating Russia's facilities. You know that Ukraine forces have managed to eliminate electronic producing plant during these nights, and we could see it that it was effective operation from Ukraine forces, and Ukraine forces managed to eliminate big Russia's refinery, which is refining most of oil for fuel for tanks and carriers. And they are established limits for exports, because they are unable to export, because they are limited in facilities which are able to recycle.
Okay, I want to ask this question. I mean, it's like it's 3 years into this war now. How is the mental fortitude of the Ukrainian people, the normal citizens that just trying to get through every day alive? What is it like at this point? Are they still standing firm in beliefs that they're going to be at the end victorious? Are they crumbling under this pressure, or are they holding up strongly?
To be honest, now we are speaking with our friends from battlefield, and very often we can see that Russia is attacking residential cities more often than, for example, military fortifications. Because you know that their goals it's to to blackmail Ukrainians, maybe, and to demonstrate, to frighten Ukrainians, just to have opportunity to demand from Ukraine's power their so-called goals. But you know that their goals, it's Ukrainians surrendering. It's impossible, and but he cannot understand, and they're still attacking, and they are attacking Ukraine's residential area every night because they have launched producing. Just imagine, Russia is launching drones. They are demonstrating for the world that they are preparing drones for attacking residential houses. It is drones for combat line, for hitting residential, for hitting Ukraine's forces fortification. It's for hitting residential houses, residential residential houses, and because of it, I say that it's type of waging war. You know that if they are demonstrating it, they are stupid. They cannot understand that they are demonstrating that they are unable to fight against Ukraine's forces.
Absolutely.
They are to eliminate residential houses and to kill civilians. Last blow, for example, they hit 28 person. Last year, because a few persons are in hospitals and they were wounded more than 100 civilians, and they are satisfied with it.
Well, that's total war crimes, and I hope someday that Putin will stand in judgment, whether it's on earth or in heaven for that. However, Vasil, we come to the last 30 minutes of our program. It was a pleasure to have you on, enlightening us to what's going on there in Ukraine still. I hope that this war could come down to end pretty shortly, that everyone can get back to their normal way of living. And for all those who have been tuning in on living in the 21st century, have a great day.